Yeah, just a quick review of the Braceowl carpal tunnel wrist brace. A lot of people can use this for carpal tunnel. You're going to be buying it for that, but there's no reason why you can't buy this if you just want to immobilize your wrist for some reason. Either just need some rest or it's overworked, and you just want to splint it for a while, or you want to just splint it, decrease the motion in your wrist while you're doing other things. So this brace, I think, would serve a lot of different purposes. A lot of these different braces you can get on the internet. There's just dozens and dozens, but I'm going to name a couple features of this one I really like the best. The first one is that this does fit the left or right hand, which I think is really good. You might buy for your right hand, and then maybe later on down the road, you know, your left hand is bothering you, and you can always use it for that one instead of buying a whole new one. The other thing is you might have a problem with both the right and the left wrist, and maybe you just want to alternate the right and the left. And you could do that with this brace. So that's one thing I like about it. The other thing is it has very breathable fabric, which I always say, like, what good is the perfect brace where it just stabilizes everything, immobilizes everything, but it's hot, you know, and you can't wear it because it's hot. Or especially in the summer months, if you sweat a lot, you know, if you're out, you know, using this to immobilize your wrist while you're doing things, you might get sweaty, and then the brace starts to stink, and then you got all those issues, and you have to worry about washing it and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so if it's a very breathable fabric, have less of those problems. The other thing is it does have a removable metal splint, so if you want to get more or less support, you can go ahead and just take it either in or out. So yeah, if you're looking to immobilize your wrist for whatever reason, carpal tunnel or just a sore wrist, I think this is a good option. Now there are lots of other things you can actually do for a sore wrist. Besides that, the Sore Wrist Solution is the book on a wrist book, which I've never really seen that many wrist books. I thought this was kind of interesting. So let me show you a couple of things that you can do for your wrist if you are dealing with, even if you have carpal tunnel. Just basic anatomy, lots of pictures if you're a real visual learner. Goes into carpal tunnel. Increase wrist circulation. So a lot of people might know, you know, to go ahead and do, you know, put a hot pack on it. This book actually shows you how to make a homemade hot pack out of a sock and rice, which is kind of cool. But actually, the thing I like actually better is you can use heat and cold. And what you do is you do contrast therapy. So first you like do hot, and then you do cold, then you do hot, and then you do cold. And you can do this, shows you a technique you can use actually in your sink using hot and cold water. You do this, it kind of increases the circulation, flushes out all the toxins and stuff, and it just plain feels good to a wrist. Just take you like maybe a total of 5 minutes standing in your kitchen, if you know what to do. Decrease wrist pressure. If you have carpal tunnel, the whole problem with that is you have pressure in the carpal tunnel, and that puts pressure on your median nerve in particular, and that gives you symptoms in your hand. There's actually a technique you can use that it just takes a minute to do, and it's been shown in studies to decrease the carpal tunnel pressure for 15 minutes. And that's a good amount of time. It may do, the study only measured it to 15 minutes, but it may be 30 or 40. I don't know, they didn't measure it. But that's pretty good. You know, just for a simple technique you do for a minute, you're able to lower the pressure. Every time you lower the pressure, if you have carpal tunnel, that's going to give everything time to catch up and heal and rest. So that's really beneficial. Relax your wrist. Actually, here's some simple massage techniques. A couple of them you can do with a tennis ball. That really helps. And that'll increase the circulation as well. Unload your wrist joints. This is probably my favorite. This is distraction. So anytime you have a tight wrist joint, or you have an arthritic wrist joint, or you have like a sore, overworked wrist joint, or especially in particular arthritic joints, they love to be distracted. That's where you're pulling the bones apart a few millimeters. That takes all the pressure off the joint, and they can rest and heal, and it just plain makes them feel good. So there are simple distraction techniques you can use in sitting. So there actually is a lot you can do for a wrist if you know how. One of the easiest is just using a wrist brace. You just slap it on, works instantly. So if you're looking for one, this is pretty good, so check it out.